Oh, Inspector, did you find the Baroness's purse?
I did indeed.
You did? Out of my way, James. Oh, wunderbar. Tremendous work, Inspector.
Constable, Baroness. Constable Anton Jakob Zellner at your service. May I ask you where this beautiful train is taking you?
To the madhouse, I'm afraid. One is close to the brink of insanity with this constant shaking and rattling.
Have you ever tried flying, Baroness?
Do you know how little luggage one is permitted upon an aeroplane? It defies all reason and good taste.
Have you heard about the burglary at the British Museum?
Heard about it? I'm directly affected by it.
How so?
I'm in charge of the Friends of the British Museum. And for your information, I'm financing the exhibition.
Exhibition? What exhibition?
The exhibition in Cairo. Where did you think we were going? The eyes of the Sphinx were supposed to be exhibited together for the first time in decades. Now that one of them is gone, the exhibition will be rather less sensational than we'd hoped.
On the other hand, there's a chance that all the uproar will generate more attention, and that the exhibition will still be a great success.
Perhaps, but we wanted to show them both together. That was the whole point.
Can you tell me anything about your fellow passengers, Baroness?
No, not really. I could hardly care who's penned up in here with me. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Lucien is here, the professor. Poor fellow. The eye of the Sphinx that was stolen belonged to his collection.
Professor Lucien is an Egyptologist.
But of course. As director of the Egyptian department at the British Museum, he has to be. The whole burglary thing really upset him. Director Thomas told me he was a nervous wreck.
I'll take my leave of you now, Baroness, and I do hope your journey becomes more bearable.
Ha! Yes, indeed, Inspector.
Constable. James? Professor Lucien?
Door is open. How can I help you, Constable Zellner?
I believe you and the inspector do know each other.
What makes you think that?
It seems like the two of you are running a haulage company specializing in safes.
I won't comment on that. It's a matter of international importance.
Tell me, Professor, would you happen to have a key in your briefcase? And if so, would it still happen to be there?
Then all would be as it should.
That's what we hope, at least. All the same, it would have been a simple matter for a thief to make an impression of it. Right, Professor?
Oh.
And the break-in? It wasn't an issue for you, even though you're the head of the department where it occurred?
All right. The burglary was most upsetting. And shocking. And I didn't know what to do, okay?
And you couldn't just tell me that.
The fewer people who know about it, the better. I can't trust anyone.
You're not only going to Venice, are you? Could it be that your journey will continue? All the way to Egypt, perhaps? I'm on your side, but the more you lie to me, the more difficult you make my job. Professor. The good professor is hiding something. It would be good if I could find out more about him. There are thousands of things I would like to ask her, but nothing would justify neglecting my duties here on the train. The butler, this James, seems to have escaped the Baroness. Good day to you, sir.
Can I be of any assistance, sir?
I wanted to ask you a few questions. Where did you and the Baroness board the train?
In Paris, sir. The Baroness was there on behalf of a charity that she supported for many years.
So you weren't in London when they broke into the British Museum?
We may have been, actually. We left for Dover bright and early the morning after the burglary. But it was in Paris when we first heard of it. The morning paper in London didn't mention the unfortunate event, sir.
And just 2 days later, you're on a train bound for Switzerland. The Baroness certainly gets around.
Indeed, sir. We are practically always on the go.
What can you tell me about the Baroness?
Nothing, sir. A butler does not tattle.
If you'll pardon a rather odd question, are you really named James? That would be a lucky coincidence in your line of work.
My name, sir, is Clive Alfred Inch.
Your second name is Alfred, yet the Baroness calls you James.
Madam considers James to be the only forename suited to a butler, sir.
Isn't butler an odd choice of career? Butler? Many would say it's a strange job.
It is true that I am one of a dying breed, sir. The war claimed a generation of butlers.
Have you been to war as well?
Indeed, sir. I was a groom for a cavalry officer.
When you British talk about war, one is never sure which war you mean. It seems the situation hasn't changed much since the 30 Years' War, has it?
Shrapnel from a bomb dropped by a Fokker would not have wounded me in the 30 Years' War, sir.
No, of course not. Goodbye, James. Or Alfred. I don't think he can tell me anything more of interest. What? Someone broke off the radio's antenna. This could be a long trip to Istanbul. Inspector Legrand?
Anything to report?
Baroness von Trebitz told me about her missing purse.
Baroness von Trebitz. She is financing everything, isn't she?
Indeed, sir.
I found the purse. David Kreutzer, a violinist from Austria, had it.
Probably nothing to do with our case. All the same, good work.
I got Professor Lucien into his compartment using a pair of pliers.
Did you notice anything inside the compartment?
The window was open. Someone could have climbed out.
And the professor?
Acted suspiciously. He rummaged around in his leather bag.
And?
He seemed to have found what he was searching for.
Good. Good work.
Now, perhaps you could give me some information.
All right. We should... What?
The light's gone out.
Flashlights! Ah! Get off me!
There, sir. An envelope.
My dear Nico, you should take a closer look at the box. R.
What the dickens? It's a...
Away with it! Take cover!
Oh, dear. Oh.
Is everyone all right? Are you hurt? Quick thinking. Well done, Zellner.
I think the tunnel collapsed.
Then he's trapped. Hurry, we have to lock the second exit.
Sir, there's a fire up ahead. The engine's burning.
It's a distraction. Hurry, block the exit.
But, sir...
The fire will consume all the oxygen.
He's right, Inspector. A fire in a narrow tunnel is extremely dangerous.
Merde. Go to the front of the train, find the engineer, and tell him to move the train out of the tunnel.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready? You have to uncouple the freight car. You understand?
I understand.
I'll see to the passengers. They should all wait in the tunnel. We'll check each one in turn as they go out.
Let's get to it. My God, what a fire. I hope Constable Oliver can at least reach the engine. The other passengers escaped from the train. I can see their silhouettes in the light of the fire. If I don't hurry up and uncouple the freight car, they'll suffocate. Whiskey, scotch, rum, liqueurs, enough to entertain everyone on the train all the way from Paris to Istanbul. High-proof rum. Could be useful. Champagne, the finest. Maybe we'll open a bottle if we get out of the tunnel alive. Until then, though, it's no use to me. Carling Black Label, a British beer. No good. Insufficient alcohol content. For practical purposes, I mean, not for drinking. Rum from Austria. Believe it or not, it's 80% alcohol by volume. There's no way anyone would drink it straight. A lot was damaged by the sudden stop, but the bowl was thick enough to survive the fall. The last of the candy has vanished. Measured against the exploding freight car, I think the railway will overlook the loss. The last of the candy... The tunnel may very well have collapsed. It's difficult to see much because of the darkness and dust, but something certainly crushed the rear of the freight car. It's possible that the other freight cars are intact and it only caught the one in which the dynamite exploded, but I'll have to uncouple it if the train's to be able to leave the tunnel. The inspector's trap failed. The thief must have got wind of it. Worse than that, he turned the tables. To win a game of cat and mouse, you have to know who is the cat and who is the mouse. It's still quite warm and too warped to open. Hello? I'm pretty sure that the noise came from the roof, but you can't see your hand in front of your face up there. I'm pretty sure... I'm sure I could uncouple the car if I only had enough light to see what I'm doing. I can feel cold metal and a screw thread, and a lot of grease, but I can't do more without light.
Pardon me. I did not mean to scare you.
What are you doing here, Doctor?
Legrand asked me to check whether there are any passengers left on the train.
Really? No one is here, except for me and you.
Excellent. Then I will continue searching at the front.
Did anyone act suspiciously before the explosion? Did anyone leave their seat, for example?
I was the only one on the train who wasn't seated when the freight car exploded. Thank God. Otherwise, I would have been caught by the blast as well.
You certainly were lucky.
Perhaps I was. What happened over there? The inspector said something about gas canisters that exploded.
He didn't want to scare you. The truth is, it was a bomb meant to kill him and the Bobby.
My God. An attack? But who would...
The investigations are ongoing, but first we have to get the burning train out of the tunnel.
Oh, of course.
How are the passengers?
They are in a state of shock, of course. The blackout and the sudden stop were frightening enough, but then the explosion, the dust... Everyone rushed for the exits. I was helping the American woman bring Lady Westmacott to safety. They are waiting outside in the tunnel. One entrance is blocked by a fire, and the other one seems to have collapsed.
Continue to search the train. I'll decouple the buried freight car.
All right.
Doctor, can you give me a few matches?
Oh, certainly.
Thanks. I'll meet you outside.
Do hurry.
The chair either fell over thanks to the sudden stop, or an escaping passenger knocked it over. Wanting to get off the train as quickly as possible after a sudden stop and a massive tremor, that's understandable. It's not bothering me, I'll leave it there. I noticed the extinguisher earlier. Doesn't match the decor. I suppose that the railway company had to comply with safety regulations at the cost of aesthetics. It'd be useless against the fire out there, and it's too cumbersome to carry around. At best, I can use it here. All right, let's go. I broke the leg off a beautiful chair, and knowing the Swiss Federal Railways, they'll bill me for it. I don't see Legrand or the constable, but I can make out the silhouettes of some of the passengers. They seem to be unscathed. All the same, the fire is getting bigger, and I don't have much time. The fire is sucking the oxygen out of the tunnel and filling it with poisonous carbon monoxide. Here in the Alps there have been dozens of catastrophes in tunnels that ended with death by asphyxiation. But not on my watch. A fine, but rather heavy curtain. The surface shimmers and feels smooth. Probably doesn't burn easily, like the tablecloths. Safety regulations require it, which, given the present situation, is actually a good thing. I should concentrate on uncoupling the freight car. I'm positive that Legrand has everything else under control. I filled the bowl about a third of the way with rum. Phew, strong stuff. Some matches, and half of the book to get the flame going. A burning match. The alcohol burns with a dim blue flame. It doesn't shed enough light and will probably burn out in a few seconds. Won't solve my lack of light. I'll have to try something else. That should do it. Can't really say the fabric was eager to soak up the rum. I, on the other hand, soaked up enough in my fingers to smell like a drunk. A fine, but rather heavy curtain. Probably doesn't burn easily, like the tablecloths. Safety regulations require it, which... Okay, I'll smear some grease on the curtain. The grease from the coupling is all over the curtain. It'll never be clean again. Oil and grease burn bright and hot, but they also require a hot flame to combust. A normal match won't do the trick. Just as I expected, the alcohol burns with an almost invisible flame. I'm the god of fire. The torch provides enough light to work on the coupling. I need to hurry, though. I can feel the air growing thin. That's better now. Incredibly basic mechanism, the kind that lasts forever. Won't budge. Too much tension on the coupling. A lever on a pressure sleeve running along a thread. Aha! I can uncouple it with this lever. Okay. There we go. Time to get out of here.
Listen, everybody! Listen! Robert, what's the situation?
Yeah, I couldn't find the engineer, so I got in the driver's cab myself and released the brake.
All right. Good job. You too. Listen, please.
Matty! Where's Matt? Where's my son?
Relax, madame. I'm sure...
Help! Matty! No!
Matt, where are you?